The truth is out there. Knowledge is power. This is the Prepper Podcast Radio Network. Are you storing food? Many preppers are storing food for months and years, but only have enough fuel stored for days or weeks. Stretch your fuel storage by harnessing the power of the sun with a sun oven. Food can be baked, boiled, or steamed at temperatures of 360 to 400 degrees Fahrenheit with the power of the sun. Depending on where you are located, you can use the sun for 50 to 80% of your cooking, allowing you to preserve your fuel storage for rainy days. Sun-baked foods stay moister and have less shrinkage and don't burn. Sun-baked roasts are tastier and more succulent, and sun-baked bread has unparalleled taste and texture. Water can be heated in a sun oven for purification or personal hygiene. For the past 25 years, sun ovens have been proudly made in the U.S. They are durable, have a long life, and come with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. For a discount coupon, email podcast@sunoven.com. That's podcast@sunoven.com. Pioneer Living Survive, a true people publication, and online at www.pioneerliving.net. Here you'll find ideas and tips for people, the new pioneers, homesteaders, survivalists, and preppers who want to get back to basics and work with nature. It's our goal at Pioneer Living to inform as many people as possible with solutions on the forgotten, lost art of basic human survival. Pioneer Living is currently accepting articles for those of you who wish to share stories on the pioneer way of life, including homesteading, survival, gardening, preparedness, and simple back-to-basics living. By visiting pioneerliving.net, you'll learn how to build an open fire pit for cooking, making charcoal, tanning hides, survival food storage, survival canning and preserving, survivalist gardening, organic soil prep, and composting. In these unique and extraordinary times, now is the time to practice a self-sufficient way of life. Find us online at pioneerliving.net and start changing your life today.
Something is coming. Change.
This is KPRN-DB, broadcasting worldwide from Southeast Oklahoma, USA, to parts unknown.
Welcome to HE Safety's Common Sense Preparedness, an American Readiness Program. I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome you to the show and let you know what you're in for. Common Sense Preparedness was designed to give the American public the much-needed information on how to manage and respond to any type of disaster we might face, natural, man-made, or personal. We will not tell you who to vote for or talk about conspiracy theories or when the world is going to end, but we'll get you ready in case that does happen. During this show, you will be exposed to current emergency information from government and non-government sources, and we will talk about the true, important information that everyone needs to know. First aid, CPR, what is a tornado, what to do during an earthquake, how to prepare a family emergency plan, a family emergency communication plan, how to hunt, fish, how to build a fire, what to do in case of power outages. The show will be hosted by myself, Tim Howard, and a variety of guests who will come and share their expertise with us. Nowadays, everywhere you look, someone is an expert. Just because someone writes a book or runs a blog does not make them an expert. However, my credentials, well, they're pretty extensive with over 25 years field experience as a chemical biological warfare instructor, firefighter, correctional safety manager, area safety manager, safety inspector. I have been associated with various federal, state, and local governments. Currently, I'm associated with the FEMA think tank, OSHA Field Councils, and HE Safety Consultants. I have received numerous awards and citations throughout my career with the United States Air Force, the U.S. Department of Justice, founding member of the United States Department of Homeland Security, and the U.S. Department of Labor. What does this mean? Well, it means you'll get reliable, verifiable information, not paranoia theories. I will share the experiences I have seen in the field since 1986, and I will be able to explain some of the why things are happening. Before we go any further, any information that you hear on the show or find on csp.hesafety.org is to be taken as informational only. We are not legal or medical advisors. We are here to give you alternate information to get you to think about things and use your own common sense to make your decisions. We do suggest that you talk to your personal medical and legal advisors to help you make a well-rounded, informative decision. Our website, csp.hesafety.org, has been designed to give you more information than can be found on this program. The website is free, so stop on by and begin your research with Common Sense Preparedness. You can download or review any of the past shows from our website and comment on any of the news articles that you may see. Also, please show some love to our sponsors. It is because of them we are able to reach you and offer you this life-saving information. Our sponsors have been selected based on the quality of service they offer to our listening audience. They are the vendors that should be of most interest to you. Common Sense Preparedness' mission is not to sell you anything, but instead it is to save as many lives as we can. It is sad to hear about any life being lost when it was avoidable. Remember, a wise man prepares for the darkness while a fool plays. Don't get caught playing. Listen to Common Sense Preparedness at csp.hesafety.org.
Welcome to Common Sense Preparedness with your host, Spreaker about
Welcome to another edition of Common Sense Preparedness, an American Readiness Program. In the last 6 weeks, Common Sense Preparedness has traveled to over 13 states and talked to thousands of listeners, some old listeners, some new listeners to the show. Now, the one thing that was asked over and over again, and they were asking to us, was what makes us different than any other internet radio show. I mean, there's a lot of radio shows out there. What makes us stand out amongst the rest? Well, you know what? Those questions, and I answered every one of them I could, my staff did, and it got me really to think and to start reevaluating what we're doing, what successes we've had, who we are, what our goals are, and, we're coming up to the end of the first full year of being on the internet. So, wanted to take a little time and talk about that in today's episode and today's show. First of all, who we are. Well, I was able to comprise a staff of not many people. I'm not going to give you numbers, but not many people. And they're all volunteers. We're all volunteers. And our goal, the goal of this whole program is not to make money. Now, believe it or not, we're not out here to get rich. We're out here to save lives. We want to prepare the American people in order for them to be able to survive disasters. Now, I respond to a lot of these disasters that happen in the country, and I see the bodies. Yes, I've had people die in my arms before, and it's sad. It is extremely sad to see someone die because they didn't know what to do. They lacked the knowledge, I won't say intelligence, because everyone's intelligent. They're intelligent enough to understand this stuff and make their own decisions, but they lack the knowledge base of what to do. And it's not natural. You don't always know what to do. I remember when I was young, being in a disaster, I was scared because I didn't know what to do. What happens if the house collapsed? What happens if we had a flood? I don't have a boat. What do I do? Now, when I was young, I come from New York, New Jersey area, and the famous saying was, if they ever nuked New York City, was run to the mushroom cloud, because you don't want to survive. We're too close. The radiations will kill us in days, so just get it over with and run. So that gave us some type of comfort, but yet it really wasn't true. I mean, had they nuked New York City, I would have been running south so fast, and then I probably would have hit the mushroom cloud coming out of Washington, D.C. The point being, I didn't know what to do. I had no intelligent game plan on what to figure out and what to do. As I got older and became responsible for my family and my wife and my kids, I started to realize, there's a way out of this. You have to plan. You have to prepare. That's what got us started in this. We wanted to make sure we are prepared to face any kind of disaster, any kind of black swan event. Now, another thing, a black swan event, that's a good name to call any disaster because by definition, a black swan event is hindsight. You don't know it's coming, but you got hindsight on what you should have done. Well, that pretty much describes any kind of natural man-made disaster. You don't know when it's coming, but afterwards, if I had done this, if I had done that, So, black swan event, that encompasses everything. Now let's take a look at what makes us different. Why should you listen to us or me on the radio or on the internet above everybody else? Well, let's see. Let's start off with me first. I've got 25 years experience. I was a chemical biological warfare instructor for the United States Air Force. Nuclear instructor also. I worked with nuclear weapons when I was in the Air Force. I remember eating lunch on my toolbox out in the flight line and just reaching above my head to scratch it and hitting a nuclear weapon. That's how close I was. Granted, that was a tactical nuke, but it was still on a B-52, and I was there. So I have that experience. I know what a nuke can do. I know what to watch out for. I know what chemicals can do, chemical warfare, biological warfare. And you know what? None of it's nice. And there's not one chemical out there, biological agent out there that's really nice. I've seen even a harassing agents, they call it, tear gas. Have you ever gotten hit with tear gas? I worked about 20 years in the U.S. prison system, and I got hit with tear gas many times. We always know when we were doing a forced cell movement or we had a riot going on, who to watch out for, because they always sprayed the officer with the tear gas first. So I've gotten hit with tear gas a lot of times, and that's not even nice. It hurts, it burns, it makes you want to die, especially when you're snotting and sniveling and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, let's stay on point here. So my experience just with chemical, nuclear, biological warfare puts me above the rest. Then I have 20 years in correctional systems in the United States. I went from being a correctional guard to maintenance, from maintenance to being a safety manager, to being one of the safety managers in the Southwest, and then a consultant for most of the United States prisons. So I do know a lot about prisons and how to run one and stuff like that. And that's one of my biggest things when we talk about FEMA camps. Most of you camps that you got pictures of is a prison. Yeah, we have a lot of prisons. I know where I come from, out here in Florence, Arizona. We got 21 prisons, I believe, or maybe 18 prisons in one small town. We got everything from juvenile all the way to death row. And yes, Arizona does execute these people. And I've worked at that cell block also. So I've got the military experience, then the correctional experience, and disaster experience. Most of the disasters our country has faced, I've had some part to do with, whether in a logistic role or a rescuer, search and rescue. I was a firefighter for a while. 9/11 happened, and the U.S. government called me up and said, we want you to come back in the government and help form Homeland Security, which I did. Now, I have to be somebody important, and not toot my own horn, but I must know my stuff if the government wants me. So I did go to my government, and I helped my government form Homeland Security. Now, we're not going to talk about good, bad, or whatever. The point I'm making here is I have been in the field. I have done this kind of stuff. So does that make me an expert in the field? By no means. Not at all. I learn every day. There is no such thing as an expert in this field, in disaster preparedness, emergency management, survivalism, if you want to call it that. There is no experts. I don't care how many books you wrote, how many blogs you write, how many shows you've done. you're not an expert. Because I know for myself, I'll get a question every once in a while that I got to refer to somebody else because I don't know. I'm very weak on, let's say, guns. I don't know much about guns. I know how to shoot them. I know how to control my aim. But that's about it. What makes them and what a silencer and flash muzzlers, you know what? I would have to talk to one of my experts on it. But I am smart enough to understand I don't know it all. So I've developed a team that does know it all. And I get my expert advice from other people who've been in the field. You are listening to Common Sense Preparedness, American Readiness Program. We are broadcasting and can be heard on PrepperPodcast.com, KPRN-DB, Blog Talk Radio, Stitcher Radio, BBS Radio, and at our website at CSPDB.com.
Common Sense Preparedness brought to you in part by PatriotMusic.com.
America is known the world over for its passion for freedom and individual rights. If you love your country as much as I do, and if you like to hear great music inspiring this passion, check out PatriotMusic.com. Download music from 3 great albums, including a new album just released with a cover you won't forget. PatriotMusic.com.
Hi, this is Matt Fitzgibbons with PatriotMusic.com. You're listening to Common Sense Preparedness with Tim Howard.
This portion of Common Sense Preparedness is being sponsored by Health Operation Team, preparing one person, one community, one country at a time, providing awareness, education, training, resources, and medical support, healthcare and emergency preparedness planning, both domestic and international. Please go to their website at www.hoteam.org, hotteam.org, and see where they have been, where they are, and where they're going. Or give them a call at 678-431-8914. Once again, that is 678-431-8914. And let them know you heard it on Common Sense Preparedness. Also, follow them on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. That's hotteam.org, your source for helping individuals, families, businesses, and communities be safer and healthier. This portion of Common Sense Preparedness is being sponsored by Rocky Mountain Survival Gear, your complete source for all things camping and prepping. They recognize the need of many people in the United States struggling to put together survival packs, not knowing where to start or what they need. So Rocky Mountain Survival Gear will be offering customized bug-out bags, emergency kits, and 72-hour bags to fit your specific needs. All you need to do is click on the items you need, and they'll put it together for you. Remember, once a disaster strikes, it's too late to prepare. So prepare now for the future with Rocky Mountain Survival Gear. Contact them at www.rockymountainsurvivalgear.com or give them a call at 720-244-9701. Once again, that's 720-244-9701.
Common Sense Preparedness would like to announce our new sponsorship from foodinsurance.com. We have looked all around at emergency food suppliers, and foodinsurance.com has become one of the most dependable and trustworthy food vendors out there. Foodinsurance.com is even offering all Common Sense Preparedness listeners special access to exclusive deals by clicking on the foodinsurance.com banner that appears on our website or by visiting foodinsurance.com/commonsense. Common Sense Preparedness finds it an honor to recommend foodinsurance.com to our listeners.
Welcome back to Common Sense Preparedness, American Readiness Program. Remember, a wise man prepares for darkness while a fool plays. Don't get caught playing. Tune in to Common Sense Preparedness at CSPDB.com. If you take a look around, and a lot of the radio shows out there and internet broadcasting, they write a blog, so they're an expert. No, they're not. They have no field experience. They've never seen someone die because of a lack of knowledge. There's people out there who have done nothing in the field. The one person I'm thinking of, he was in law enforcement and an insurance salesman. That don't make you an expert, but yet he writes like he's an expert, and this is how you have to do it, and da-da-da. There's been one person out of everybody I have seen, and I'm not going to mention names because I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he was a military official for 20 years. This man had a lot of credibility. And he did talk about emergency responses and survivalism and stuff like that. And you could tell by the way he would talk, he wasn't telling you to follow him. He was hoping you wouldn't follow him because he wants to survive. He doesn't want you to survive. Kind of smart. But he knew what he was talking about. And I can't think of the person's name off the top of my head. I'll have to do some research on that. But out of everybody, one person that I can find, I'll follow. There's people out there who get all the publicity. There's a lot of publicity hounds out there. You gotta watch out for that. One thing on our emails that we send out, the last line, that no matter what we send out, we always put this as the last line. Research everything before you believe anything. There's a gentleman out there, and I'm not going to mention names, like I said, that he was talking one day, and he's very popular. Everyone knows him. Everybody tries to follow him and want to listen to his radio show, da-da-da. But he was talking about the financial collapse of America. Now, do I believe we're going to go into a financial collapse? My belief doesn't matter. But he was talking about, it's going to happen in October. So I took his article and I started doing some research, looking for his points of reference. And then you can read in between the lines of where he came from on this. And I followed all my research back. It was from the Russian Times, the magazine, Russian Times. Now my question comes out to is, what does the Russians know about the U.S. economy? Or when it's going to fall? Nothing. It's called propaganda. But yet he didn't do his research. He just put it out there. Because somebody else on the internet put it out, he put it out. He put his credibility on the line for the Russians. Now, most of my military career, we were fighting the Russians. They were the enemy. I'm not saying they still are the enemy, but what I'm saying is they have propaganda. They know how to play the propaganda game. And guess what? So does America. And most of the survivalism and prepper movement and panic and tinfoil hat conspiracy theories and that all is derived from propaganda. No one does their research. They just follow blindly what is being said. You have to research. You got to follow yourself. You don't listen to anybody. I don't even want you to listen to me. I really don't. But I want you to research what I say and make your own decision. That's what it comes down to. And that's what puts us above the rest. I'll be the first one to tell you, hey, don't believe me. I could be wrong. Just ask my wife. I'm always wrong. Follow my research. If you find it's credible and it makes sense to you, then believe what you want to believe. If you got a question, by all means, come back to me. Make a comment. Come to my website. Send me an email. I'll put you on the show. I don't care. But it's good to talk. Now, I get emails all over the place. And I get some angry emails. I get some good job and all that kind of stuff. So I'm open for all kinds of emails. If you don't agree with me, by all means, tell me. We can debate it. But prove to me what you're going to say. Don't give me conspiracy theory. Don't give me, I heard. That doesn't work here. What we're trying to do is we're trying to give the American public readiness information to prepare themselves for any natural or man-made disasters with facts. Not, we're going to have FEMA camps. Prove it to me. There is no proof of that. No matter what I've seen so far, there's no proof of that. Chemtrails. I can't tell you much about chemtrails because I haven't studied it. I'll be the first one to tell you. I don't know. Is it true or not? I don't know. But what I can tell you is I've been on airplanes before, and I've watched trails come from my airplane that I was on. And that was being developed by the wind in the clouds. The wing in the clouds. So you're going to have to prove to me what chemtrails are. I don't know. Could be there is. Could be there's not. But you're going to have that proof. And that's the one thing I want everyone to understand that with our show. You need to provide proof, not conspiracy theories. I don't want to hear, I heard, or I think, or what about. Well, where's the facts? Where's the written documentation? You have government documentation. That's even better. Give me some documentation, 3 or 4 different sites that says the same thing, and then we'll probably find the answer somewhere in the middle. Now, that's another thing. You got to believe, you got to understand, when I say research everything before you believe anything, even your research that you do doesn't always mean you're researching the facts. You could be researching propaganda. And most propaganda's got a little seed of truth to it. What's that famous saying? To tell a good lie, you have to have a seed of truth to it. That's what propaganda is. Now, the people who make this propaganda, whether it's the Russians, the Iranians, the Iraqians, the Americans, well, they're intelligent people. They know how to get you to believe something. They will give you just enough truth. Your mass media, your New York Times, your LA Times, they are controlled by propaganda. Most of what they put out is propaganda. Now, when I worked for, I did work for NSA, National Security Agency, or I was associated with them when I was in the military. One of the things I found out when I worked with them was you believe nothing of the paper. If you want the truth, turn to page 14. You might get some truth. That much. Most of the mass media is propaganda. They force feed the people what they want to keep them calm. So, you got to understand. Okay, let's say we have an explosion in Nebraska today. New York Times might say the explosion was caused by Obama. And the Los Angeles Times will say it was caused by Republicans. The truth is somewhere in the middle. You can't believe either one of those sources. The truth is the explosion was caused by somebody who was not trained on the job. It could be as simple as that. Who knows? But the point I'm making here is your major newspapers, your mass media, they're not going to tell you the truth. A good example of that was when we had the shootings in Minnesota a couple months ago. Oh, CNN was reporting that it was a group of 4 did it, and da-da-da-da-da. What really happened? We don't know, honestly. Were you there? The only people that really know what happened were people that were there on the ground. And you can't even trust what they're going to tell you. All we know, a lot of people were killed, and supposedly one person did it. Which is a good thing, because if it was a group of 4, guess what? That was probably a militia. And you don't want that heat coming down on you. If it was a lone gunman, he got some lucky shots off. But who knows? You're never going to know the truth. What you got to do is do your research on it and figure out what makes sense to you. And everyone's opinion is going to be different. Everyone's got a different opinion. And you know what? This is America. I was talking to somebody online the other day, and he was talking about socialism in America and how could I fight for socialism in America? You know what I try to explain to him is this. When I was in the military and what I do today, yes, I fight for freedom. I don't fight for socialism. I fight for the freedom for you to pick socialism if you want to. I fight for the KKK. Your right to choose to follow the KKK doesn't mean I have to listen to you. Doesn't mean I have to agree with you. But you have the freedom to pick what you want to be. That's what I fought for. And that's what I continuously fight for. Your freedoms to choose what you want. To have your own opinion. It might not agree with me. And that's why you'll hear me on the radio or seminars I do. My opinion, it don't matter. My opinion's my opinion. But I'll tell you what the facts are. And what I believe you need to understand. And then I'll tell you, hey, this is my opinion. Argue with me as much as you want, because your opinion might be different than mine. But it's my right, my hard-fought right to have an opinion. And I don't have to pronounce it. You know, everyone's different. But that's what we fought for. That's the point of the subject. That's what we fought for, was the right to have, the freedom to have an opinion. The freedom to be who we want to be. The freedom to be an idiot. The freedom to be a wise guy. The freedom to be left alone and take care of your family. That's what the freedoms we fought for. That's what freedom all it means. Doesn't mean I have to agree with you. Doesn't mean I have to understand what I'm fighting for. But I fought for the freedom for us to do what we want. And I told him, I said, you don't like the socialism, so-called socialism in America? Well, what are you going to do to change it? Because that's what I fought for. Your freedom to change it. Now, proper ways, granted, you're not going to go violent on it, but you're going to do it in a proper way. And I told him, so what are you going to do to change it? That's what I gave you. That's what I fought for, was the freedom to change what you don't like. See, I fought for freedom. I didn't fight for any particular part of freedom. I fought for all of it. So, what point of this subject is, I'm here to express. I'm here to tell you, hey, this is what the facts are. Don't want your opinion. I want your facts. And then we can make a decision in between the facts. If you have an opinion, by all means, you can express it, but let us know. This is my opinion. I believe the aliens are going to come down. You know, okay, fine. That's your opinion. I'm not going to laugh at you about it. I might not agree, but when you come up with a debate to me or on a subject on the radio, bring facts, not opinions. You are listening to Common Sense Preparedness, American Readiness Program. We are broadcasting and can be heard on SpreakerPodcast.com, KPRN-DB, Blog Talk Radio, Stitcher Radio, BBS Radio, and at our website at CSPDB.com. Now here's a new song from Matt Fitzgibbons from his newest album called Entitled.
Seems like 1,000 years since we had real fears, but the old ones won't forget. These broken levee walls had a few close calls, but they haven't fallen yet. And you know the rain's coming, the rain's coming, all your days and all your nights. It brings a storm on you. When the sun beats down and it bakes the ground, and you watch the rich land die. Such a vicious drought, even hope's in doubt. But there are no clouds in the sky. But you know the rain's coming, the rain's coming. All your days and all your nights, it brings the sun on you. When you feel the first drop fall, when it kisses your skin, the storm will begin to bring with it promise of change. When you hear the thunder roll, the lightning's begun, the flood will come to wash out the things that remain.
You are listening to Common Sense Preparedness, American Readiness Program. We are broadcasting and can be heard on SpreakerPodcast.com, KPRN-DB, Blog Talk Radio, Stitcher Radio, BBS Radio, and at our website at CSPDB.com. This portion of Common Sense Preparedness is being sponsored by Health Operation Team, preparing one person, one community, one country at a time. providing awareness, education, training, resources, and medical support, healthcare, and emergency preparedness planning, both domestic and international. Please go to their website at www.hoteam.org, and see where they have been, where they are, and where they're going. Or give them a call at 678-431-8914. Once again, that is 678-431-8914. And let them know you heard it on Common Sense Preparedness. Also, follow them on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. That's HotTeam.org, your source for helping individuals, families, businesses, and communities be safer and healthier.
This is James Smith, the Covert Prepper. Have you ever wanted to make sure you have the right news? You want to avoid all that hassle of going through fluff piece after fluff piece and politician talking about another politician? Well, you can. Visit Prepper Podcast Radio Network News, pprnnews.com. We're the #1 site for preppers to get their news. You want to know about the tyranny going on in the world? pprnnews.com. You want to know about disaster? pprnnews.com. From disaster, finance, extreme weather, tyranny, the unrest in the Middle East, in America, in Asia, we are the #1 source that people come to get the news that matters most to preppers. The Prepper Podcast Radio Network News. Visit us today, put us on your favorite, and visit us often. I guarantee you will not be sorry.
This portion of Common Sense Preparedness is being sponsored by Pure Hydration Water Purification Systems. Rocky Mountain Survival Gear is now the sole U.S. distributor of Pure Hydration Water Purification Systems, which uses no chemicals, has no wait time, and can be filled from any natural water source. The purifier eliminates pathogens, viruses, bacteria, chemicals, heavy metals, fecal matter, sediment, bad taste, and odors, and quickly turns potentially contaminated water into safe and clean drinking water. Pure Hydration offers their purifiers in 6 different personal carrier modules for every outdoor endeavor. For more information, contact Rocky Mountain Survival Gear at www.rockymountainsurvivalgear.com or give them a call at 720-244-9701. Once again, that number is 720-244-9701.
Common Sense Preparedness would like to announce our new sponsorship from FoodInsurance.com. We have looked all around at emergency food suppliers, and FoodInsurance.com has become one of the most dependable and trustworthy food vendors out there. FoodInsurance.com is even offering all Common Sense Preparedness listeners special access to exclusive deals by clicking on the FoodInsurance.com banner that appears on our website or by visiting FoodInsurance.com/Common Sense. Common Sense Preparedness finds it an honor to recommend FoodInsurance.com to our listeners.
Welcome back to Common Sense Preparedness, American Readiness Program. Remember, a wise man prepares for the darkness while a fool plays. Don't get caught playing. Tune in to Common Sense Preparedness at cspdb.com. All right, so far we've talked about my experience in the field and as a manager for emergency information and emergency systems. And what makes our show different? The point is purely on facts. You know, do your own research. Take a look around. By all means, go to the other radio shows. Listen to the way they have to talk, what they got to say. If they're tickling your ears, probably not something you want to know, because they're not giving you the truth. We're based in truth, as much as we know. Now, sometimes we've been wrong, and we've said something out and say, oh, well, you know, at the end, that wasn't true. We come out with what we call recant. We recanted what we said. Hey, we made a mistake, we jumped the gun, and we try to give you as much information as we can. But, you know, we're just human. We do make mistakes, but we'll be the first one to admit to it. Also, one of the other things that separates us is that we have an emergency communication center. We try to bring you life safety information as much as possible. And you'll notice, I might not be always talking about guns and gardening and this, that, and the other. I might come out and say, hey, look, this is what the sun can do to you. Hey, this is what we live in with 10 degrees of hot and cold. You know, how to protect yourself during the winter and stuff like that. I'm going to give you life safety stuff. I'm not going to give you, oh, wouldn't it be good to have this M16 modified to this? No, you know, that's more of a conspiracy theory, I think. I will bring you gun experts and let them talk to you about, hey, this is what we need to do and this is how you do it. But I'm not going to try and promote something that's not feasible. What we try and do is we try to bring you life safety information that's going to save your life. And we're going to be the first ones to tell you, you know what? And I've told this to other people, please do me a favor, share the information. Knowledge is power, so share the power. If it doesn't save your life, it might save somebody you shared it with. All I ask in return is, you know, just let them know where you got it from. They can come back. We do more research. And our website's always being developed into other aspects of, you know, this is what's going on. This is where you can do some more research. We got links up there. I would give you an example of solar weather. I see a lot of websites out there with solar weather. One link, back to solarweather.com, and that's it. If you come to my site, you're going to have at least 6 links. This is solarweather.com, and this is the other stuff out there. Do your research. Because something might be said somewhere else that makes it perfectly clear to you. Do we want to believe the government? Do we want to follow government? You know what? We give you non-government outlets and government outlets. You make your decision. A lot of my information does come from the government, and it's verified through other websites too. Example: if you want to know what FEMA's doing, well, I get the FEMA operational briefing, so I publish that. Where's the best source of information? And if you're ever taking the time to read the FEMA operational briefing, it's not a propaganda tool. What it is, it's telling you, hey, look, we got this many houses up, we got this many shelters going on. This is what the earthquakes were yesterday. This is where our FEMA teams are, our emergency response teams, what's inactive and what's not. It gives you a good synopsis of what's going on in the country. I've had so many people tell me, oh, you must work for FEMA. You're one of the FEMA goons. No, I'm not. I work for I am part of the FEMA think tank, yes. I give them my opinion on many subjects, yes. Doesn't mean I'm one of their goons. They don't tell me what to do. I get the FEMA operational briefing because I'm part of all this. And to me, it's a good informational synopsis of what's going on in the country. Not always correct. I mean, I've gotten the FEMA operational briefing, and I just know we have an earthquake going on that, okay, it's not in there. Or we had a solar weather flare that wasn't in there. So I'll try and doctor it up a bit. If not, I'll send out another report. But the point being is a lot of the information, it's just, that's what it is. It's information. It doesn't mean I promote this or this is true and this is that. Do your own research. That's where we are a step above everybody else. Don't believe me. Like I said, I'm always wrong according to my wife. Follow the trail. Follow the paper trail. And then you'll figure out, and nowadays it's not even a paper trail, follow the electronic trail and you'll figure out what's right and what's wrong. So that's what separates us. That's what makes us bigger and better, I think. Because we give you the information without opinions, without bias. Now, granted, I'm not going to give you anything that says, let's go ahead and revolt and do this, because that's stupid. That's not even worth it. I mean, that's one thing I try to explain to people in my seminars. Did you ever see an M1 tank come rolling down the roadway? You're not going to fight that. You're going to run. So why would I talk about how to destroy a tank? It's not going to happen. So we give you reliable life safety information on disasters and emergencies and how to handle this. Now, a lot of times we'll send out information that might not just affect us. Example, we had a volcano in Mexico. Is that going to affect us? Probably not. But you need to understand that information compiled with the volcano that's going on in the Philippines, compiled with the earthquake that's happening in Alaska, could mean something together. So we'll give you information from around the world. Like I said, it might not affect us, but combined with other things could mean something. And we don't know. We're just giving out the information and see what happens. You are listening to Common Sense Preparedness, American Readiness Program. We are broadcasting and can be heard on PrepperPodcast.com, KPRN-DB, Blog Talk Radio, Stitcher Radio, BBS Radio, and at our website at CSPDB.com.
This is James Smith, the Covert Prepper, telling you about the Covert Prepper Show. If you want to learn how to hide your food, your weapons, your water, your dear-needed medical supplies, then tune in onto Blog Talk Radio. Look for Prepper Podcast Radio Network. Look for the Covert Prepper. I'm there 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Central Time, Saturday nights, where you can listen to me tell you how I figured out how I can hide my stuff. I share this with you. And I'm also undergoing a series called 300 Days to Doomsday. This is where I get people ready to, well, be ready for a doomsday. That doomsday could be the end of the world, or it could be simply as, well, you lose your job, or even worse than that, you lose your number one provider, your spouse. So listen in and visit www.thecovert.prepper.com today.
This portion of Common Sense Preparedness is being sponsored by Health Operation Team, preparing one person, one community, one country at a time, providing awareness, education, training, resources, and medical support, healthcare, and emergency preparedness planning, both domestic and international. Please go to their website at www.hoteam.org, and see where they have been, where they are, and where they're going. Or give them a call at 678-431-8914. Once again, that is 678-431-8914. And let them know you heard it on Common Sense Preparedness. Also, follow them on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. That's HotTeam.org, your source for helping individuals, families, businesses, and communities be safer and healthier. This portion of Common Sense Preparedness is being sponsored by Pure Hydration Water Purification Systems. Rocky Mountain Survival Gear is now the sole U.S. distributor of Pure Hydration Water Purification Systems, which uses no chemicals, has no wait time, and can be filled from any natural water source. The purifier eliminates pathogens, viruses, bacteria, chemicals, heavy metals, fecal matter, sediment, bad taste, and odors, and quickly turns potentially contaminated water into safe and clean drinking water. Pure Hydration offers their purifiers in 6 different personal carrier modules for every outdoor endeavor. For more information, contact Rocky Mountain Survival Gear at www.rockymountainsurvivalgear.com or give them a call at 720-244-9701. Once again, that number is 720-244-9701.
Common Sense Preparedness would like to announce our new sponsorship from FoodInsurance.com. We have looked all around at emergency food suppliers, and FoodInsurance.com has become one of the most dependable and trustworthy food vendors out there. FoodInsurance.com is even offering all Common Sense Preparedness listeners special access to exclusive deals by clicking on the FoodInsurance.com banner that appears on our website or by visiting FoodInsurance.com/commonsense. Common Sense Preparedness finds it an honor to recommend FoodInsurance.com to our listeners.
You are listening to Common Sense Preparedness, American Readiness Program. We are broadcasting and can be heard on PrepperPodcast.com, KPRN-DB, Blog Talk Radio, Stitcher Radio, BBS Radio, and at our website at CSPDB.com. Now, another thing that makes us different is our advertisements, our sponsorship program. We're not like the rest. I've looked at a couple of a lot of my competition, if you want to call it that, advertising schemes and stuff like that. One, I'm not going to charge an arm and a leg. There was one show out there, and it wasn't even a really popular show, but they were charging like $1,100 for a banner ad. Are you kidding me? You are not that important, okay? My prices are very reasonable. All I'm trying to do is cover my expenses to provide this information. Now, once I have a sponsor, I have a responsibility to my sponsors. Now, it's a give and take situation here. I'm going to promote them. I'm going to put them on the air. I'm going to do a product review for them. And I'm going to give them an honest product review, but they got to prove it before it goes on the air. So I'm not just going to send something on the air that's a bad review on anybody. That's something they have to work out. But that's my responsibility. For them to pay my bills, I have a responsibility to them. And I'm not saying don't listen to what I say, it's all directed. It's not. What I'm basically trying to say here is 511 Tactical, one of my sponsors. It's my responsibility and my responsibility to them to put them on my emails, to put them on my website. When I do a social update, to have them out there. That's my responsibility. And it's exactly what I tell them in my contracts with them. Is, look it, I don't guarantee nothing. What I guarantee you, though, is I'll get you in front of people. If you bring a good product, and I know you do, because I wouldn't be talking to you if you don't, my customers, my listeners, have a chance to become your customer. I'm not going to push it either way. I can give you exposure, and that's what I'm promising them. So that's what I'm trying to explain. I don't come out and say, oh, you got to buy from 511 Tactical because, they paid me so much money to say that. They didn't. The point being is I did promise them I'm going to put them in front of people. So don't get upset with me when I do an email and you see 511 Tactical. It's not that I'm trying to push them on you. What I'm trying to do is give you exposure, give you an option. And that's where my listeners get the benefit of. I try and bring you good sponsors, good people to do business with. Perfect example. I had a chance to do a Marriott hotel chain. One of the local hotels wanted to do a commercial with me. I refused. I don't like Marriott. I had problems with Marriott. It wasn't a good scenario for me. Another one was Sears. Sears wanted to do some advertising on my website. Sorry, not going to do it. Why? Because I ordered from you, and this is what happened to me. I'm not going to allow my listeners to become customers like that and be exposed to your inept ability to do an internet order. So, what I can tell you on my show, you're going to hear responsible, trustworthy sponsors. And I'm going to put them in front of you. So you have an option to become their customer. Not going to promote them with falsehoods, but I'm going to promote them with exposure. And a lot of my sponsors, to be honest with you, they don't pay me. We do a horse trade. If you've seen me at any of these expos and stuff like that, some of that stuff that's on my table, I'm not selling. Why? Because I'm not authorized to sell it. It's just an exposure. They provide the money for the booth. They provide equipment to put on my table. And they talk about. And that's about it. So a lot of it, sometimes money don't even change hands. It's just, I need their support. Also, in my show, and every show you've seen, music, commercials, product reviews. I try and break it up to where you're getting some type of variety on all counts. Now, the music you've been hearing on my show is from one single artist called Matt Fitzgibbons. And the reason being, Matt was there in the beginning for me. He helped me put the show together, helped me with the logistics, helped me with everything there was. So he gets the first crack at it. Now, we will have more musical artists on the show coming up. And the problem with the musical artists is that a lot of legalities involved. I don't want to be sued, so I can't put just anybody's music up there without paying them. And I don't have money to pay them. So I've got to get royalty-free music. Now, that's kind of hard. That's like pulling teeth almost. I have a couple groups that, are willing to do it because they need the exposure, and that's what I'm looking for. So you're going to see new artists. You're not going to see Bruce Springsteen on my show. Not unless Bruce wants to come on because he likes the show. If he does, by all means, Bruce, if you're listening, just call me. We'll be there. But the point I'm making is you're not going to see named artists like that. You're going to see American rock, folk rock, and stuff like that are good music, that I believe is good music. Now, that, I'm going to say, is kind of biased. I got to admit that. That's probably the only biased part of my show. The music I must like. If I don't like it, I'm probably not going to be putting it on. I don't like rap or reggae. You might not hear that on the show, so yeah, that's bias part. But you're going to hear other music. You're going to hear a variety of stuff, so we don't get bored. So we have a good time. I want your experience to come in to listen to my radio show to be a good one. To when you after the show's over and say, hey man, I listened to the show. Really, I like that tune. It was in my head. You know, he did make some good points on, I don't know, how to turn off the gas in your house and da-da-da. You know, that's what I'm looking for. That's my goal. If I can get that information out to you to the point where you remember it, you can pass it on to other people. And by passing it on, we save lives. That's the whole aspect of the show. I'm not there to make the money. I'm not there to be popular. For the longest time, I wasn't going to tell you guys my name. Because I have other responsibilities. I don't want my name being promoted. And I don't want the publicity. And I don't want the death threats. But, so I wasn't there for popularity. I was there for provide the information. So I don't have to look at my next 21-year-old that was in a car accident because she didn't know how to put a seatbelt on, die in my arms because she went through the windshield. Or look at the little baby who wasn't properly strapped into her car seat. Or watch the motorcyclist on the road not wearing a helmet and he was drinking. Or the burn victim from Thanksgiving. They didn't know how to handle that turkey in the deep fryer. You're going to hear all this stuff because that's what my experiences shows. That people who get killed or get maimed lack the knowledge that they needed to do it in the first place. I will provide that knowledge. And I'd like to say I have 300 million listeners sometime in the future. That means getting to everybody in America. That's my goal. We're also going to have a variety of guests to come on the show. And to give you a good example, we're working right now on putting a solar power company on the show to do an interview about their products because they got some very good products and they will save some lives. And after all of this, if you have anything to say, good, bad, indifferent, Tim, you're an idiot, whatever, you can always email me. And I will respond most of the time. I've had a couple people there's no way I'm going to respond to because they're just enticing me into a fight, and I'm not there to fight with nobody. That's not reasonable. I had one person tell me that I was ignorant because I wouldn't let the zombies eat the people in jail cells. Okay, you're not in reality, folks, so... I will respond to most. If it's reasonable, I will respond to you. You can always guarantee that. You can always leave a comment on the website. And our website is changing every day. So always check our website. You'll have more information on our website. Well, that about does it for this episode of Common Sense Preparedness. If you want to follow any information that you heard on this radio program or any other information, follow us at cspdb.com. And remember, a wise man prepares for a darkness while a fool flays. Don't get caught playing. Listen to Common Sense Preparedness at cspdb.com.
Your BB gun was a world of fun. You were just a little squirt. You learned the rules of defense and tools so that no one would get hurt. You learned to breathe and you learned to squeeze till your aim was always true. You made the rites of passage, man, with your first real 22. Now the new world order through, well, they're making their demands. They don't feel safe if you are armed. You say gun control is using both hands. Founders knew the Second Amendment was the gun control is using both hands. Like the sun, the freedom wins the time is 2 to 3. Using more than 1,000 yards against my family. Is using both hands.